The snow was falling outside my kitchen window in Winnipeg. I was pouring my second cup of coffee when my phone buzzed on the counter. A text from my daughter Jennifer. "Dad, about Thanksgiving. We're doing it at Marcus's parents' place in Toronto this year. His whole family will be there. You understand, right? Just immediate family." I stared at the message for a long moment. The coffee in my cup had stopped steaming. Just immediate family. I wasn't immediate family anymore, apparently. This was the 4th year. 4 years since my wife Patricia died, and 4 years of watching myself get quietly erased from my daughter's life. Not all at once. Never all at once. It happened the way snow accumulates in Manitoba, one flake at a time until suddenly you can't see the ground anymore. The first Thanksgiving after Patricia died, Jennifer had insisted I come. "Dad, you have to be with us. Mom would want that." I'd driven the 22 hours to Toronto, white-knuckling it through the prairies, because that's what fathers do. We'd sat around her dining table, and every empty chair felt like it was screaming Patricia's name. Jennifer had cried 3 times. Marcus had awkwardly patted her shoulder. Their son, Ethan, who was 5 then, had asked why Grandma wasn't there. The second year, the invitation came with conditions. "Dad, maybe don't mention Mom too much. It's still hard for me, and I want the kids to have a nice day." I'd come anyway. I'd smiled. I'd played with the grandchildren. I'd pretended my wife of 36 years had never existed because it was easier for everyone else. The third year, the invitation arrived 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. "Dad, I know it's last minute, but Marcus's parents are coming too, so it'll be tight on space. Maybe you could come for dessert instead?" I'd driven 22 hours for pie and coffee. I'd stayed for 90 minutes. Then I'd driven back home through a snowstorm, and somewhere around Kenora, I'd realized I was crying so hard I had to pull over. And now this. Year 4. Just immediate family. I wasn't immediate family. I texted back, "I understand. Have a wonderful time." She replied immediately with a heart emoji. Not words, just a heart, like that made it all okay. I set my phone down and looked around my kitchen. The same kitchen where Patricia and I had raised Jennifer. The same table where we'd helped her with homework, where we'd celebrated her acceptance to the University of Toronto, where we'd toasted her wedding. The same house that apparently didn't make me immediate family anymore. My phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't Jennifer. "Coffee tomorrow? Haven't seen you at the community center in a while." Helen. I'd met her 6 months ago at a painting class the rec center offered for seniors. I'd signed up because my buddy Robert had insisted I needed to get out of the house and stop moping. I'd gone expecting to hate it. Instead, I'd discovered I was terrible at painting but excellent at talking to Helen Kowalski, a retired librarian who'd moved to Winnipeg from Vancouver after her husband died 3 years ago. We'd become friends, the kind of friends who could sit in comfortable silence, who didn't need to fill every moment with chatter. She understood grief. She understood what it felt like to be invisible to your own children. Her son lived in Calgary and called once a month, always in his car, always rushed, always with the same closing line. "Gotta go, Mom. I'm pulling into the office." I texted Helen back. "Coffee sounds good. 10 o'clock? Perfect. The usual place." The usual place was a Tim Hortons on Pembina Highway. Nothing fancy. But Helen made even Tim Hortons feel less lonely. We met the next morning. She was already there when I arrived, sitting by the window with 2 coffees and a box of Timbits between us. "You look tired, Richard," she said as I sat down. "Jennifer texted yesterday. They're doing Thanksgiving in Toronto. Just immediate family." Helen's expression didn't change, but something shifted in her eyes. Recognition. She'd heard those words before too. How many years now? 4. Well, 3.5, if we're counting the year I got pie. She laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. My son did something similar last Christmas. Said they were keeping it small and simple this year. Then I saw the photos on Facebook. 30 people. But not me. Because I wasn't small and simple enough, apparently. We sat there for a while, not talking, just drinking our coffee and watching the snow fall outside. It was the kind of silence Patricia and I used to share. The kind that didn't need words because the understanding was already there. "What are you doing for Thanksgiving?" Helen asked finally. "I don't know. Probably the same thing I did last year when I wasn't invited until the last minute. Microwave a turkey pot pie and watch hockey." "That sounds depressing." "It is." Helen was quiet for another moment. Then she said, "Come to my place. I'll cook. Nothing fancy, just turkey and stuffing and the basics. I haven't cooked a proper Thanksgiving dinner since Graham died. It feels like too much effort for one person, but for two people, it might be worth it. I looked at her. Really looked at her. Helen was 71 years old. She had gray hair, she wore short, laugh lines around her eyes, and a smile that made you feel like you mattered. She was offering me something my own daughter wouldn't, immediate family or not. Are you sure? Richard, I wouldn't ask if I wasn't sure. Besides, I make an excellent pumpkin pie. You'd be doing me a favor by eating half of it. So that's what we decided. Thanksgiving at Helen's apartment. Just the two of us. The week before Thanksgiving, I went to the grocery store and bought ingredients. A small turkey, cranberries, potatoes, everything we'd need. Helen protested when I showed up at her door with 3 bags of groceries. Richard, you didn't have to do all this. Yes, I did. You're cooking. The least I can do is provide supplies. We spent Thanksgiving Day in her small kitchen. She taught me how to brine the turkey properly, something Patricia had always done, but I'd never paid attention to. I peeled potatoes while Helen made stuffing from scratch. We argued good-naturedly about whether cranberry sauce should have chunks or be smooth. She won. It had chunks. The apartment smelled incredible, like the Thanksgivings I remembered from before, when Patricia was alive and Jennifer still considered me family. We ate at Helen's small dining table. She'd set it with real cloth napkins and candles. We said grace. Helen thanked God for new friends and second chances. I said amen and meant it. The turkey was perfect. The stuffing was better than I remembered Patricia's being, though I'd never say that out loud. The cranberry sauce with chunks was excellent. We talked about everything and nothing. Helen told me about her years working at the Vancouver Public Library. I told her about my 30 years as an accountant for Manitoba Hydro. We compared notes on ungrateful children and laughed about it because sometimes you have to laugh, or you'll cry. After dinner, we did the dishes together. Helen washed, I dried. My phone was sitting on her kitchen counter, face up. Are you going to check that? Helen asked, nodding at it. Check what? Your phone. To see if Jennifer texted. I looked at my phone. No notifications. She's busy with immediate family. Richard. What? You're allowed to be hurt by this. I know. Do you? Because you keep making jokes, but I can see it in your face. You're heartbroken. I put down the dish towel. What am I supposed to do, Helen? She's my daughter. I can't force her to want me around. I can't make her remember that I'm her father. All I can do is wait until she decides I'm worth her time again. Or, Helen said quietly, you could stop waiting. You could build a life that doesn't revolve around waiting for her to remember you exist. I didn't say anything to that. What could I say? She was right. We finished the dishes. Helen brought out her famous pumpkin pie. We ate it with whipped cream and coffee. I took a photo of my slice before eating it, because it looked that good. Helen laughed. Are you going to post that somewhere? Maybe. I've been getting better with Facebook. Jennifer's always on there posting photos of the kids. Maybe I should post a photo too. You should. Show her you're not sitting at home feeling sorry for yourself. So I did. Right there at Helen's table, I posted the photo. Just the pie, nothing fancy. The caption read, Thanksgiving dinner at a friend's place. Best pumpkin pie I've had in years. Grateful for new traditions and good company. I didn't tag Jennifer. I didn't mention her at all. I just posted it and put my phone down. There, I said. Done. Helen smiled. How does it feel? Weird. Good weird. Like I'm allowed to have a life that doesn't include her. You are allowed, Richard. You're 63 years old. You're allowed to be happy. We finished our pie. Helen packed me up leftovers in Tupperware containers. Turkey, stuffing, even extra pie. I drove home through the dark Winnipeg streets feeling fuller than I had in 4 years. And it wasn't just from the food. My phone started buzzing around 8 o'clock that evening. I was sitting in my living room, watching the Winnipeg Jets play the Toronto Maple Leafs, when I noticed it. One call from Jennifer, then another, then 3 more in quick succession. Then the text started rolling in. Dad, call me. Dad, I saw your post. Who is that? Dad, seriously, call me right now. Who were you with? I stared at my phone. 6 missed calls. 4 increasingly frantic text messages, all because I'd posted a photo of pumpkin pie. I didn't call back, not right away. I watched the hockey game. The Jets won in overtime. Then I made myself a cup of tea, and sat down with my phone. 7 missed calls now. 10 text messages. The last one read, "Dad, I'm calling Marcus's parents to see if they know where you are. This isn't like you." I finally called her back. "Dad," she answered on the first ring. "Where have you been? Why didn't you answer?" "I was watching the game." "What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong?" "You posted a photo from Thanksgiving dinner and didn't tell me where you were or who you were with. You told me not to come. Just immediate family, remember?" "I didn't mean." "Dad, who were you with?" "A friend." "What friend?" "You don't have friends." That stung more than it should have. "I have friends, Jennifer. I have a whole life you don't know about because you never ask." There was silence on the other end. Then, "Who were you with, Dad?" "Her name is Helen. I met her at a painting class." "Her? You were with a woman?" "Yes. A friend who happens to be a woman. We had Thanksgiving dinner together because neither of us had anywhere else to go." "You had somewhere to go. You could have come here." "No, I couldn't. You specifically told me it was just immediate family." "I'm not immediate family anymore, apparently." "That's not, Dad, I didn't mean it like that." "Then how did you mean it, Jennifer?" "Because for 4 years, I've been getting smaller and smaller in your life. First it was don't talk about Mom too much. Then it was come for dessert only. Now it's don't come at all. So I didn't. I had dinner with someone who actually wanted me there." "Dad, I'm not angry, Jennifer. I'm just tired. I'm tired of waiting for you to decide I'm worth your time. I'm tired of driving 22 hours to be tolerated for 90 minutes. I'm tired of being an obligation you check off your list twice a year." She was crying now. I could hear it in her breathing. "Is it serious? You and this woman?" "It's not like that. We're friends. Good friends. But even if it was like that, would it matter? Would you even care if I was happy? Or would you just be worried about what it means for you? That's not fair, isn't it? You haven't asked me how I'm doing in 3 months, Jennifer. 3 months. You text me about Thanksgiving plans, and before that, it was a Father's Day card you probably bought at the last minute. But you post photos of the kids every week. You post about Marcus's promotion. You post about your vacation to Niagara Falls. You have time for Facebook, but you don't have time for me." The line was quiet except for her crying. "I'm sorry," she finally said. "I know you are. But sorry doesn't change anything. Sorry doesn't make me immediate family again. You are immediate family, Dad. You're my father." "Then act like it, Jennifer. Because right now, I'm just the guy who's supposed to sit at home and wait for you to remember I exist. And I'm done waiting." I hung up before she could respond. My hands were shaking. I'd never talked to her like that before. Never. In 63 years of life, I'd never told my daughter how much she'd hurt me. My phone rang again immediately. "Jennifer." I didn't answer. It rang 6 more times that night. I didn't answer any of them. The texts kept coming, though. "Dad, please. We need to talk about this. Marcus says I'm being unreasonable. Am I being unreasonable? I'm calling Robert to check on you." That last one made me laugh. Robert was my buddy from Manitoba Hydro. We golfed together in summer and played cards in winter. Jennifer had his number from years ago, some emergency contact list I'd filled out. The idea of her calling him to check on me like I was a child was almost funny. Robert texted me 10 minutes later. "Your daughter just called me in a panic asking if you're okay." What the hell happened? I called him back, explained the whole situation. Robert listened in silence, which meant he was either very interested or very confused. When I finished, he said, "So let me get this straight. You had Thanksgiving dinner with Helen from painting class. You posted a photo of pie, and now Jennifer thinks you're having some kind of crisis because you're not sitting at home alone? That about covers it. Good for you, man. About time you stopped letting her walk all over you." "I wasn't letting her walk all over me." "Richard, buddy, you drove to Toronto for 90 minutes of pie last year. That's the definition of being walked over." He had a point. "What do I do now?" I asked. "You live your life. You keep hanging out with Helen. You post more photos if you want. You stop waiting for Jennifer's permission to be happy. She's my daughter, Robert, and you're her father. But that doesn't mean you have to set yourself on fire to keep her warm. Patricia wouldn't want you living like this." Patricia's name hit me like a punch to the chest. He was right. Patricia would be furious if she knew how the last 4 years had gone. She'd loved Jennifer fiercely, but she'd loved me too. She wouldn't want me erased. I didn't call Jennifer back that night, or the next day, Or the day after that. She called 14 times over 3 days. She left voicemails. The first few were angry. Dad, you can't just ignore me like this. Then worried. Dad, please just let me know you're okay. Then desperate. Dad, I'm sorry. Please, we need to talk. On the fourth day, my son-in-law Marcus called. Richard, it's Marcus. Jennifer's a mess. She hasn't slept in 3 days. Can you please just talk to her? What does she want to talk about, Marcus? About Thanksgiving. About this woman you were with. About everything. The woman's name is Helen. She's 71 years old. She's a retired librarian. We're friends. And Jennifer doesn't get to have an opinion about my friendships unless she's willing to actually be part of my life. She is part of your life, Richard. She's your daughter. Then why do I feel like a stranger to her, Marcus? Why do I have to wait for her to decide when I'm allowed to exist? Marcus was quiet for a moment. Then he said, She's scared. Scared of what? Scared that you're replacing Patricia. Scared that if you move on, it means Patricia didn't matter. Scared that you're going to build this whole new life and forget about her. I closed my eyes. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I know. I told her that too. But she's grieving, Richard. She lost her mom 4 years ago, and she never really dealt with it. She just kept pushing it down and pushing you away because you reminded her of what she lost. And now she's terrified she's going to lose you too. She's not losing me. I'm right here. I've always been right here. She's the one who decided I wasn't immediate family anymore. I know. And she knows that was wrong. Can you please just come to Toronto? Can you come talk to her in person? I thought about it. About driving 22 hours again. About sitting in their living room and having another conversation where Jennifer cried, and I comforted her, and nothing actually changed. No, I said. If she wants to talk, she can come here. I'm done driving to Toronto to be tolerated. Richard, I mean it, Marcus. I'm 63 years old. I spent 36 years married to the love of my life. I spent 4 years grieving her. And I spent 4 years letting my daughter treat me like an obligation. I'm done. If Jennifer wants a relationship with me, she needs to put in the effort, not the other way around. I hung up. 2 days later, Jennifer showed up at my door in Winnipeg. I didn't know she was coming. She didn't call ahead. She just appeared on my doorstep at 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon with red eyes and a suitcase. Hi, Dad. I stared at her. You drove here? I flew. Marcus has the kids. I needed to talk to you, and you wouldn't answer your phone, so I got on a plane. I stepped aside to let her in. We sat in the living room. The same living room where we'd celebrated her birthdays, where Patricia had taught her to knit, where we'd watched her graduate on a live stream 4 years ago because we couldn't afford to fly to Toronto. Dad, I'm sorry. I know. No. I'm really sorry. I've been terrible to you. Marcus was right. You were right. I've been so wrapped up in my own grief that I forgot you were grieving too. Jennifer, please let me finish. When Mom died, it felt like the world ended. She was my best friend. She was the person I called when something good happened, or something bad happened, or nothing happened at all. And when she was gone, I didn't know how to exist without her. Every time I saw you, I saw her. I saw the hole where she used to be. And it hurt so much that I pushed you away instead. Because if I didn't see you, I didn't have to think about her being gone. Tears were running down her face now. And then this Thanksgiving, I saw that photo. I saw you having dinner with someone who wasn't Mom, having pie with someone who wasn't me, being happy without us. And I realized I've spent 4 years pushing you away, and now you've actually gone. You've built a life without me. And it's my fault. I didn't say anything. I couldn't. My own throat was too tight. Marcus told me what you said, about not being immediate family, about feeling like a stranger. Dad, you're not a stranger. You're my father. You're the most important person in my life besides Marcus and the kids. I forgot how to show that. You didn't forget, Jennifer. You chose not to. There's a difference. She flinched. You're right. I chose to protect myself instead of thinking about how it affected you. I chose to make excuses instead of making time. I chose Marcus's family over you because it was easier. And I'm so sorry. We sat there in silence for a long moment. Tell me about Helen, Jennifer finally said. What do you want to know? Everything. How you met. What she's like. Why you didn't tell me about her. I didn't tell you because we barely talk, Jennifer. When would I have mentioned her? In the 2-minute phone calls you make once a month? In the text messages where you ask me to send money for the kids' birthdays? She looked like I'd slapped her. But if you really want to know, I'll tell you. I met Helen at a painting class 6 months ago. Her husband died 3 years ago. Her son lives in Calgary and barely calls. We became friends because we're both lonely and we both understand what it's like to be invisible to our own children. We drink Tim Hortons coffee every Thursday morning. We laugh about bad movies. We sit in comfortable silence and don't have to explain ourselves. And yes, we had Thanksgiving together because neither of us had anywhere else to go. That's it. That's the big scandalous relationship you flew across the country to confront me about. Jennifer was crying harder now. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were lonely. I didn't know you needed someone. You didn't ask. I know. And that's on me. All of it. The last 4 years, all of it is on me. I reached over and took her hand. It's not all on you, sweetheart. I could have fought harder. I could have told you how I felt, instead of just accepting it. I could have set boundaries years ago, instead of letting resentment build up. We both made mistakes. What do we do now? Now you go back to Toronto. You hug your husband and your kids. And you decide if you actually want a relationship with me, or if you just want the idea of a relationship. Because I'm not going to be a cardboard cutout of a father who only exists when it's convenient for you. If you want me in your life, you need to make space for me. Real space. Not just come for pie on Thanksgiving. Real time. Real conversations. Real effort. I want that, Dad. I really do. Then show me. Don't tell me. Show me. Jennifer stayed for 2 days. We talked more than we'd talked in 4 years combined. She told me about her job, about Ethan's trouble in school, about her and Marcus seeing a marriage counselor because they'd been fighting about his mother's constant interference. I told her about Helen, about painting class, about finally starting to clean out Patricia's things from the closet. On the second day, I introduced her to Helen. We met at the Tim Hortons on Pembina. Helen was nervous. I could tell by the way she kept adjusting her scarf. Jennifer was nervous too. She ordered her coffee wrong twice, but then they started talking. About Patricia, about Graham, Helen's late husband, about what it's like to love someone who's grieving, about second chances and new friendships and learning to live again after loss. By the time we left, Jennifer was hugging Helen goodbye. Thank you, Jennifer said to her. Thank you for being there for my dad when I wasn't. Helen hugged her back. He's a good man. Don't forget that. I won't. Not again. Jennifer flew back to Toronto the next day. Before she left, she hugged me tight in the airport. I'm going to do better, Dad. I promise. I know you will. And Dad, I want you to come for Christmas. Real Christmas. Not just dessert, the whole day. And bring Helen if she wants to come. I want the kids to meet her. I didn't cry until I got back to my car. It's been 3 months since that Thanksgiving. Jennifer calls every Sunday now. Real calls, not 2-minute check-ins. She asks about my week. She tells me about hers. She sent me a photo of Ethan's soccer trophy. She remembered my birthday last month and sent a card a week early, not a day late. Helen and I are planning to go to Toronto for Christmas. Jennifer's already made up the guest room. She's promised Helen her famous pumpkin pie recipe. I still have coffee with Helen every Thursday at Tim Hortons. We still take painting classes together. We're both terrible at it, but that's not really the point. The point is this. You can love your children with everything you have and still deserve to be loved back. You can grieve your spouse and still build a new life. You can be 63 years old and start over. You can set boundaries with family and still be a good parent. You can demand respect without demanding perfection. And sometimes, the best thing you can do for the people you love is to stop letting them forget you exist. Because you matter too. Even when they forget to tell you. Even when they take you for granted. Even when they push you away. You matter. I learned that from a slice of pumpkin pie and a woman named Helen who understood what it meant to be invisible. And now, finally, I'm learning to be visible again. Not just to Jennifer, to myself.